was like painting and doing a lot of image-based work, object-based artwork, but also doing a lot of community organizing and education. And then at some point, I felt a new impulse to bringing those two things together, because I felt like doing them separately didn't make a lot of sense. Like significant amounts of time doing community-based organizing and education, and then also art. I just felt like I was stretching myself too thin. And that's what led me to do social engaged artwork, which was, for me, the way of bringing these two passions of mine together. I am functioning as an artist in residence, educator, and I also gave myself the title of space shaper. I'm based at the Martin Luther King Worker Center, which is the place in Portland where day laborers organize. So what I am trying to do is to facilitate any sort of activities that make the space more productive, because my observations from being there a lot in the past was that if the workers didn't find work at any given time, all they did in the space was playing cards or watch TV. Nothing that felt very stimulating. And I felt like a lot of them wanted to do something else, and there was an opportunity to. We have started with screen printing and also we added printmaking, linoleum printmaking, because some of them were interested in exploring that. So what I do is just draw from friends and local artists to come and help the workers with that. But then we are expanding it, because the idea is that as I spend more time there, I get to know who the day laborers are, what kind of skills they're bringing, and what kind of things we can make happen.
I got really into art and design through some friends I was living with in Brooklyn, and I was like, wow, this can be a different world. You know, that art can be a way to communicate, to express, to think about ways you can change the world in a lot of ways. And I found it was more accessible to youth, and it made things more exciting and motivating. And so I started working for a nonprofit along the East River called Solar One, and it's an arts and education center that's solar powered. And I got really interested in environmental-based arts and also sustainable designs, working with community-based groups and youth, and thinking about them as a vehicle for my own work. So the youth actually had a really amazing way of seeing the world, and I thought that was actually valuable to share with other people too. So a lot of what I do is about collaborating with kids and collaborating with families and using those experiences as a platform to talk about, everything from climate change to LGBT rights.
We've been working together for about 10 years now. When we met, we were both came from a history of and an interest in interventionist art practices and the various ways that art appears in the public realm. One of the wall works is a wall of emojis, and it comes out of a bunch of taste experiments that we were doing with this grade 4-5 class that we worked with, trying to break down the components of taste and the things that they're attracted to and the things that they're not attracted to, and also develop our own language around taste and flavor. And one of the things we did is we would taste different things. We'd kind of do these blind taste tests and then they would draw emojis based on how they felt about that flavor.
We also developed kind of a visual lexicon in some ways, where we were asking kids to draw the shape of the flavor, and so they had all different kind of capacities and willingnesses to do that, but we came to emojis because it is omnipresent language, I guess, and you can see traces of a lot of other things. It also feels like a real treat, again, to be put in this context of other people who are working in and around within education.
I chose to focus on a project that's an ongoing work that I've been doing. It's a series called Cabrini Green and Other Urban Legends. And it focuses on the Cabrini Green housing development in Chicago, which sort of has a notoriety in popular media. The housing development has, for the most part, been dismantled completely and razed. The only remaining properties are the original row houses, like that were built early 40s, and so there's a number of units there. Half of those are actually boarded up, and the other half are still maintained by residents. And so there's been a lot of friction around replacement housing. There's been a lot of friction around, how to sort of renovate the remaining row houses. So for me, I really wanted to seize on, this as actually captivating, in terms of the public imagination, right? So not necessarily there's a lot of great stuff, documentaries about Cabrini Green, its residents, its sort of demise, but I was really interested in sort of taking up that piece of it and also taking up this idea of the land that's left remaining. And for this show, I'm actually bringing remnants of a movement performance I've been working on called Ghost, Ghost, Ghost. I use the actual work on the land through Ghost, 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 and then the larger Cabrini Green project, Cabrini Green Other Urban Legends project, as a way to educate folks about not only the past, but the present and then the future of public housing in Chicago. So for me, that's really exciting because there are tons of books out there's tons of documentaries, and I'm really thinking about how, using an artistic lens, one could actually help facilitate this learning and engagement and discussion about things like urban renewal, things about restrictive covenants for housing, thinking about the plan for transformation and sort of dismantling of public housing over the last 20 years or so. And so for me, it's like getting people out in the field, kind of doing this sort of work, embodying this work as opposed to reading and looking at it becomes one way to do that.